there are some films that you want to watch the credits. So when Netflix kind of forces you to go, you got 12 seconds to watch this film, I'll be like, no, I want to watch the credits, damn it. Let me just stew over this, what this is. Let my mind fester on what I've just seen. That is this film.
No, there's something to this creature that's very unusual.
And welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben, and this is my review for My Octopus Teacher, a new Netflix original documentary film. A filmmaker forges an unusual friendship with an octopus living in South Africa kelp forest, learning as the animal shares the mysteries of the world. This film is directed by Pippa Ehrlich and James Reed. James Reed has done a number of underwater documentaries, so quite in safe hands with the directing of this. But the story is where I felt like this film really kind of grips the viewer. If you are needing something to watch that isn't going to, you aren't going to have to invest yourself in hundreds of hours, mini series, or a film that's just, not your quite cup of tea, but you need something that's going to enrich your life, teach you something, and also mesmerize you at the same time, this is definitely the documentary for you. I go through stages where I want to watch some documentaries, and then sometimes I just love watching wildlife documentaries as well. Anything by Richard Attenborough. I love learning about our marvelous, wonderful planet. And the more we learn, the better I feel as a human being. The more I know about, what Earth has to offer, what we need to understand it to help Earth. All of that comes into play. So when I see something like this, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm going to give this a go. What I was surprised by was how much of a story this was. So you get some documentaries that just kind of document a certain specific thing, and it's kind of chopped up between little bits of footage that they see and then they narrate over it, and you can kind of get a story and the moral of the tale and what you should learn, and as a viewer afterwards, what you should take away. There is that in this, but it almost felt like I was watching a movie rather than a documentary. And I think that is to the editing style, the way the story is told. So you see it from the perspective of this filmmaker that he's come to a part in his life where he's no longer able to pick up his camera. He has no passion for it anymore. He's kind of worked himself into a stupor, and he's not doing well with his family. And so he goes back to his roots as a kid in Cape Point. I grew up in South Africa, so I love my holidays in Cape Town and swimming in the shallows or snorkeling, seeing the animals. So I really resonated with that part of it, because this whole film is filmed in South Africa, well, in Cape Town, Cape Point. And so this filmmaker meets an octopus, and I think if you know anything about the animals of the world, especially the fishes of the deep, you'll have heard some stuff about octopuses, their intelligence, how they can change their forms, that kind of thing. But I have to say, what you learn as a viewer in this is spectacular. I had no idea about certain things about an octopus, but what was most marvelous of all was seeing the relationship, the symbiotic nature that is formed between this guy, that he gets a lot out of this relationship that is formed, and the octopus gets something out of it as well, which I wasn't expecting either. And just seeing how they bond, the friendship that is formed, even though they're still, species apart and they got to go their separate ways, the fact that he makes an effort to come back day by day by day and just learn to be in this underwater world, under the sea.
Under the sea, darling, it's better down where it's wetter.
Is, just remarkable. You get a little inkling of what's going on in the ocean. And I have to say, the filmmaking is fantastic. The way it looks is stunning. I feel like we're so lucky that we're living in a world where technology allows us to further explore the far reaches of Earth and space. And it is also said that we've explored more of space than we have of our ocean. So that gives you a bit of understanding of the adventure that is still lurking beneath the surface. And so we get to see a little bit of that in this film. And I thought it was a marvelous adventure. It was also heart-wrenching in places that I didn't expect it to be. You get emotionally entangled in these characters in their journey, which was phenomenal. Documentaries, if they're doing a good job, if they're telling a story, they've gripped you on that journey. And I think, obviously, maybe I'm a little bit biased because I was South African, born and raised. I love Cape Town, I love the ocean, and seeing my kind of home away from home, my heart still kind of belongs to South Africa. So yes, I will say, okay, maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I actually thought this was fantastic. It was an amazing story, and has a really kind of nice fruition, a beginning, middle, and end. So where you start at the beginning, you understand what they're trying to tell you. But during the meat of the documentary, you get to learn so much. I thought I knew stuff about octopuses, but man, the intelligence of this creature is incredible, and it does make you think. You have that saying where people think that octopuses are aliens because of their intelligence, because of what they can do, how they can form their body. But never in my wildest dreams did I think I would see certain things that happened in this documentary. I don't want to do any spoilers, but there are moments in this you kind of like. I was just blown away really by some of the footage that they captured. I have one little negative, and obviously, this happens with every sort of documentary. It's always biased to the filmmaker's kind of storytelling nature. And it's filmed in a way that makes you think, like, oh, wow, look at this adventure that's happening, look at this moment. But I did wonder if some of the moments, the interactions, especially the heightened sense of tension that happens in this documentary, whether it was to do with them forcing the situation. There are obviously more than one cameramen, underwater cameramen. I don't think you can get away with saying that there was just one. And so it did look like they sometimes would crowd the creatures to make them interact, like force them in a certain path and hope that something would happen. I could be wrong, but that's what it looked like in moments, and I really hope that's not the case just to get a great story. I can't believe that would be true. I'd love to speak to the filmmaker or the storyteller themselves to see if that is true, but there were times that made me think, is that's what's happening here? I really hope that's not the case, but for someone that is so positive about the underwater world, and just a champion for everything underwater, especially kelp forest, I doubt that is true. I hope it's not, but that did have me thinking that way. Maybe it's just my skepticism. Maybe it's my skepticism of humanity on the whole. 2020 is shaken our trust in everything really. But this documentary is well shot, well told, really interesting, has a great story and moral that we need now, and I think it's perfect escapism watching. And if you're not really into documentaries, I think this might be one that might twist your mind into thinking, hang on a minute, I think I do actually like some documentaries. This might be one. I'm going to give this an A. Chat to me in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about it. Had you heard of it? My octopus teacher. Fantastic story, looked amazing, great cinematography. Yeah, definitely put on your list. Thanks so much for watching this, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.